Thank you for joining us for Get Up and Tie Your Shoes podcast, episode 2. We are so excited to be here in beautiful downtown Kings Mountain. We decided to switch it up a little bit and get comfortable and come over here to Brittany Austin's real estate office, which is 144 West Mountain Street in Kings Mountain, across from 133 West, which is amazing, by the way. So I have my amazing co-host here, Brittany Austin, which you guys got to see on our first episode, and we had to drag her here, but she's here. We got her because I'm a pretty big girl, so we drug her here, but her beautiful sister, Kaitlyn McNeilly, that we have made mention of on a previous podcast that you haven't even seen yet, and so we have some awesome notes that we're going to talk to Kaitlyn about today. We have been cutting up all for like the past 30 minutes. So it seems to me like, how many years apart are you guys? So you're 35, and then how old are you?
I'm 28.
28. So tell me what it was like to grow up with the Brittany McNeilly Austin as an older sister.
I never saw her.
She was always gone.
Always gone.
Well, she said she always works. We were talking about that last time, how we work all the time. People say, what do you do for fun? We work. You know, what do you do for this? We work.
It was like that growing up, too. It
Yeah.
was. Yeah, I started working at 14, so.
I did, too. Okay, so we didn't talk about this last time. Where did you work when you were 14?
I was a lifeguard.
Oh, my God, me, too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot smaller lifeguard than I would be right now.
Yep.
Man, you know the saying, as a woman, people say, I wish I was as fat as I used to think that I was.
Yes.
I remember thinking I was so obese and overweight, and I actually found the little bikini one that I used to wear at Gaston Country Club, and Riker goes, my son, he goes, Mommy, you didn't used to wear that, did you? I was like, dude.
Yeah, thank you very much. I did.
Thank you. Yes, I birthed you, and so now I don't wear it. But so she was lifeguarding, and then what were you doing while she was gone? Were you like the kid of the house then?
I think I was playing doctor.
Yeah.
I give her a hard time because, like, her friends would come over, and they would play, like, school and doctor and
like receptionist
and all the things, and I'm 7 years older than her, so I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
I would always be like, do you want to play? And she's like, no, I'm going on a date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so.
yeah, on MySpace.
I'm on AIM, but no, we weren't close when we were young. All we did was fight like cats and dogs.
Really? So I would have never thought that, because you're so close now, and you're so close with her girls, and like you're all close. So it's like you would never think that you fought as kids. But 7 years is a big difference.
It is. I mean, you're just in two totally different phases of life.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they're annoying because my nephews
100%.
were like my brothers, because my brother was a cop. So the nephews were always at the house, and I remember I was like, God, they're so annoying. But now, they're like almost my age.
Well, it's like I would have dates over to the house, and she would be like hiding behind the couch.
Oh my God. Now, did you have crushes on her dates?
No, I was a little behind in that scene.
Okay.
Kaitlyn was always like, when she was in like elementary school or like middle school, like she didn't like guys until like later on in life.
Yeah, I didn't.
Like she wasn't interested in any of that.
But like that's part of the reason we have you on today, to talk about that. So on a quick note, you went from being a teacher, was it 4th grade? Fifth grade. So you moved from that, and did you always want to be a teacher?
I did, and I always wanted to be a nurse.
Yeah.
So I kind of fluctuated, and then finally, which I did go into the healthcare industry. I majored in healthcare management.
Okay.
And then decided I did not like that. So then that's when I went to be a teacher.
Gotcha.
And then I decided maybe this is not for me.
Yeah.
School system's not what it used to be.
That's true.
I don't make enough money for all of the work
single
that
lady.
I do.
Amen. Preach.
Right. All the work I do, not to mention to take care of myself.
Right.
So I looked for bigger and better things and a place where I could actually grow.
And you moved into corporate America.
I did.
And so actually we had a huge corporation move to our hometown, because we're all from here. And their office is absolutely gorgeous, right over here, might I add. So what was that transition like? Like, were you nervous your first day of work? Did you know what it was going to entail?
I was definitely nervous, but I wasn't as nervous because I had never taught a day in my life. And first day teaching,
Right.
they threw me in the classroom.
Gotcha.
So in my head, I was like, okay, if I can do that, I can come and do this.
Yeah.
So it was a little scary because it was mining and I don't have any experience whatsoever.
So yeah, tell them what your job, like what you do.
Yeah.
Around about.
I work for Albemarle Corporation in Kings Mountain, right off of 85. And I'm a contract administrator for the mining project.
Gotcha.
And I had no experience whatsoever. So that was, that part was scary. Because I was like,
well, it's a global company too.
Right. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to fail at this? You know, am I going to be good at this? So that part was.
And see, I actually did the reverse. I got laid off from working in television when the economy was kind of like it is now, back in 2008. And I walked into a classroom and had no clue what I was going to be doing because I went in lateral entry, hardly any training. And then they're like, hey, here's 185 middle schoolers you're going to teach Spanish to. Good luck.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just wild. So how long have you been with Albemarle? 2 years?
No, so this is my first year. I actually have my 1 year anniversary coming up on February 27th.
Well, I remember when you were getting ready to start that because she had just listed our house and she was telling me that you were starting there. So definitely better as a single woman to be able to teachers. And I'll say this, I say it all the time, North Carolina legislatures, you're awful. Teachers deserve to be paid more. My husband's a state trooper. He deserves to be paid more. You say you support education. You say you support law enforcement. And I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer, but at the end of the day, the truth is the truth. And they did not vote for the pay increases that teachers or state employees deserved. So I'm going to get off my soapbox there. But now you've moved on to bigger, better opportunities. So Brittany and I were talking about our marriages and being moms and all that. And you came up about the dating world.
Shocker.
And I am amazed because when we sound like old women back in 1964, but when we were dating, things were like way different than they are now. And I am blown away. And my buddy over here behind the camera, he is also a single fella. And I was blown away with some of the stuff that goes on. So we don't go clubbing anymore. Yeah. Like, we're old. So, like, where do y'all go? Like, where do y'all go to meet people? Like, how do y'all date? Is it all, like, people sending, like, pictures and social media? Just walk me through a day in the life of Kaitlyn.
A day in the life of Kaitlyn is pretty boring. But in dating terms, I mean, you can either get on your Hinge or your Bumble.
What is Hinge?
So these are the dating websites.
Okay, I've heard of Bumble.
That they have now.
Okay.
I don't really prefer to get on them just because I haven't really had many good experiences with them.
You know what I like to do?
What?
Oh my God.
When she goes on her lunch break, sometimes she'll come to the office and I'll say, get on your dating app.
Yeah.
And I'll sit beside her and watch her scroll.
You got to investigate that mess. Might be serial killers.
Well, I think last time we did that, we were swiping. Well, I was swiping, and she was like, oh, yeah, that one.
But how do you even really know if it's them? I mean, are they AI images or are they like...
Some of them are.
Yeah.
But some of them that you can tell they're actually real people.
Right.
But then, like, I like getting on there and reading about them.
Yeah.
Like, we've got to make sure that they're Christian. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things.
Yeah. And
my mama would have a cow if she brought anybody home other than a conservative Republican.
So what you're saying is, Joe Biden's supporter is not on your list. I mean,
it's going to be a no for me.
It's going to be a no, yeah. Well, I mean, he wouldn't remember it anyway. Sorry. I'm on a roll tonight.
Sorry, guys.
It's been one hellacious week. It's been super stressful.
But, there's just, certain things.
There's certain requirements.
There's certain requirements that you have. And, hey, and here's the thing, at the end of the day, we want to make sure you love Jesus.
That's right. Well, and make sure you work.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't love Jesus and not work. Jesus would want you to work, son.
We can't be a deadbeat.
Absolutely not.
And you don't need to have 7 baby mamas.
No.
Can't be having that.
No.
Now, children are, I guess, fine or no?
Children's fine.
Yeah.
I love kids.
Yeah.
So I don't mind if they have kids.
Right.
Coming in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind being a stepmom, but
being a stepmom was cool. I was a stepmom for what 3 years before I was a biological mother, I guess you could call it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and honestly, I'm not getting any younger. So if a man comes with kids,
Yeah.
That's fine.
So what are you looking for when you're like swiping? I was about to say scrolling. I guess that's old woman language. Swipe. So, and by the way, so you got Hinge, Bumble. What are the other popular ones now?
I think Tinder's a little outdated.
Yeah.
That was kind of like the hookup scene
Yeah.
in college.
Oh. Look, Brittany's
I
like,
never got on it.
She absolutely did not. Let's go ahead and preface that.
I did not.
Did you see Brittany looking at you? She's like,
She's like, calm down. Get it together. But I think what I look for when I'm scrolling is I look at your height because I'm pretty tall.
right?
I mean, I'm 5'7".
Yeah.
So I don't
What
really.
if you were a giant like me?
Listen, I get it. So I don't really want anybody that is shorter than me.
So no midgets.
No, absolutely
Midgets
not.
are out. Okay.
My height, I can deal with.
Right.
I'm not gonna completely just be like, oh my gosh, you're
If
my
they got a
height.
good personality.
Right.
Right.
They got a good
And
personality.
he might be like buff, you know, like.
I don't even need buff.
Right.
You know what? It's funny because her and I are very, like, I'll be like, oh, he's cute. And she's like, eh. Her and I are very different with what we.
Yeah. What
See,
you
she
like.
always had a type.
I always had a type.
I don't.
Gotcha.
I cannot pinpoint a specific type for her. She
Really?
brings home this one. Actually, you really don't bring home many.
I don't.
She really doesn't introduce us.
don't.
She'll start hanging out with somebody, and I'll say, "You want to bring him over? You want to bring him out to dinner with us one night?" She says, "Absolutely not." I'm like, "I appreciate that. Thank
I
you."
just don't want to bring somebody around and then
Right.
2 weeks later they're like, so what's so-and-so been doing? And I'm like, I don't know.
I don't talk to him anymore.
He ghosted me.
Kay's like, I don't know. I forgot to text him back.
I'm the worst at that.
Right. But you know, like, do you ever get on your phone and you think that you've texted somebody
Yes.
back or messaged somebody back?
Yes.
And then, like, 3 days later, you're like, oh my God, they think I'm horrible because
Well,
I didn't even message them back.
I read it in the preview and then like in my head I'm like replying and then I'm like I'd find something else to do or I get distracted and then it's a week later and
Right.
they're like you're
Good
rude.
talk.
They're like you're rude and I'm like I'm so sorry.
Now, I know Brittany and CJ have like an intense family division with UNC and Duke. Are you a sports fan? Is that something you look for in somebody? I mean, we're possibly looking at candidates here if you're, watching this. But are you like a football fan, basketball? Like my husband never watches sports. And I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah. Now, granted, we've known each other since we were kids, but like, I love sports. I'm like the man when it comes to that. Like, he'll be out like building guns, and Riker's been watching football with me since he was practically born.
Yeah.
Because I love, and he's not a big, like, go into games person. I'm like, ooh, let's go get some hot dogs and beer and go watch a game. Like, that's fun for me,
So I have never been into sports ever
Until this year.
Yeah.
The girls started playing basketball. So I really started getting into basketball because I would go to all their games.
Right.
And I'm a UNC fan.
Gosh.
So
you just can't win.
I can't. Well, you know what's funny? My girls really are
Leighton wants to transition. It's
yeah.
fine.
She's transitioning over
She wants to.
No,
Carolina
she
from
doesn't.
Duke.
She wants to with KK.
She doesn't. She really just wants KK to be a Duke fan, and she'll mention those things, and Kay's like, sorry, it's too late in life. Like, I have to be a Carolina
Like, I can't
fan.
be a fair weather fan at this
It
point.
just doesn't.
Right.
And that's what I tell my girls. I'm like, you have said you're a Duke fan. You are a Duke fan. You cannot go back. It's funny because with the girls, when they get upset and they argue with each other, do you know how they, like, roast each other?
How?
They tell each other they're Carolina fans.
Oh.
And it's the worst thing.
And their daddy is like the biggest Carolina fan.
They get upset. I mean, CJ and I were so, and Kaitlyn will tell you, it's not as bad now, but CJ and I were so bad back in the day. We would have to watch the game, and we still sometimes watch the games in separate rooms, and we won't talk to each other for like a solid 24 hours after the game. We went to the Carolina Duke game a couple weeks ago.
And you got cussed out, didn't you? By
I got cussed out a minimum of 10 times, but he was so kind to me. Duke was losing, and we left the game with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, and that was my second game. The first game I went with Duke and Carolina, Duke won.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, babe, it's fine. We'll go ahead and leave, because he knew that they were about to storm Franklin Street.
Right.
And I tell you what, I really could have thrown hands.
And I'm
if
guessing,
I knew that I wasn't outnumbered and Kay would have been there,
I'm guessing you didn't go to Franklin Street.
Oh, absolutely not. Those people were crazy. Yeah, it was a little crazy.
It's pretty wild.
They do get wild there.
It's pretty wild. I got accepted to like a ton of universities. I ended up going to UNC Charlotte, which, by the way, we didn't have a football team until I believe 2014 when Riker was born. And I even bought a brick for Jesse that's like Happy Father's Day or something. I don't remember what it was, but it was like, we love you. Have no idea where it's at. Never seen it. Haven't even been to a football game in my alumni. Like, I haven't even been. So it's on my goal list for like this year.
Yeah.
I'm dragging them all there. And I'm not a green person, but you know, you kind of have to.
You kind of have to be your alma mater.
It is.
Yeah.
It's green and gold.
Right.
So
Well, and she went to App, so it's like she's got, you know.
you've got the good stuff.
got the
And
good stuff.
that was our colors, the Mountaineers. We had the Kings Mountain Mountaineers.
Yeah.
By the way, our football field is amazing. And so
Fabulous.
as everybody in the county, just to talk about that real quick, we were always the like redheaded stepchild when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And now it's like all these haters. And I'm like, get you some private donors, get you some community involvement. Then you can have it's a turf field. Is that right?
Yes, it is still. I have to like. It's like pulling teeth to get this one to go to a Kings Mountain game with me.
Really?
I think it'll be better this year.
Yeah.
Because I got into it. I
Well,
really
and you
do.
said she
I'm
said
a
she
hold-
was going to be a cheerleader, so we can put her down there.
I'm gonna hold her to that because, like I said, this last year I was like, "Come on, come to a game," and she's like, "No, I'm good." I'm like, "Okay."
She would always want to go when it's like smoldering hot.
I don't like hot football games. I would rather be cold.
I would too.
Yeah. And
You didn't want to go when it was cold.
I did not.
hey, but the
I did
cold
not.
games, I'll never forget. I went to a Cleveland Browns game in December, and I am telling y'all, I'm straight up Southern, of course. I thought I was going to die. There was not enough alcohol that you could drink or enough clothes to put on because it's on the water, like, you know, and the wind. And I was miserable. Then when you go to pee, you have to take off like 27 layers of clothes.
Yeah,
so you
that's
might as
not-
well just wear a diaper or something.
Yeah, but then you get so warm. I mean, at that point, you're just going to the bathroom to get warm.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that was absolutely crazy. So we were talking about is it Lumi? Am I saying that right? Lumi?
I say Lumi.
That's what we say.
Is that Lumi?
I guess we call it. You know, we're rednecks from Kings Mountains. We just call it Lumi.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about that, and you had already been using it. I've been testing it. I don't know, y'all. I'm just gonna say.
I'll be honest, guys,
Y'all, I've been using it for about 6 months.
and we are all sweating like.
I like
crazy
did not
over here.
have. And last time we got done, and Brittany, and you'll see the upcoming episode, Brittany's like, "Oh my God, Nick, do you think people are going to think we stink? Do you think people are going to think we're nasty? We don't stink.
No.
But we're hot-natured people. We work
Can
a lot."
I just say, women that are watching this are going to understand this
Exactly.
conversation.
Exactly.
Because literally, I feel like it is so hard to find a good deodorant.
Yes.
Oh, it definitely
I
is.
mean,
Yeah.
guy, I have used men's deodorant. I have used the natural stuff. I have used the Lumi. I have used it all. And
the
I'm
clinical,
just,
all
the
of
clinical. I'm about to just be like, can I get some Botox in my armpits? And
Well, and we
figure
were
something
talking
out?
about my husband gets so like nasty and sweaty on the range, and he never stinks. He smells sexy all the time.
See, CJ doesn't stink either.
What is up with that? Like
Like,
why do
he'll
we
go-
have to bear the children and stink if
Right.
our armpits get sweaty?
He'll go work out and then come in, and I'm like, I don't even smell you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and to me, I'm like, "Ooh, God, come here." And he's like, "Jen, I've got to go shower." I mean, the man will take like 4 showers. I got to go shower, and I'm like, "No, this is sexy.
Yeah,
Don't do that."
CJ came in yesterday. You know, my aunt's building a house in our neighborhood, and him
Right.
and his dad are laying the stone on it. And he came in yesterday, and I gave him a hug, and I'm like, "Man, you don't stink."
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
Like inflation is for real, and if it like I got the stick, is that what you call it, and the paste,
For your private parts.
right? Just to test it
Right.
out. I got the unscented because like I thought the other flavors or not flavors.
Because I told you
scents,
I got, like, she said flavors.
they
Other
smell
flavors.
like maybe not disrespectfully, but like kind of like senior citizen smell.
I
like
got
just-
lavender.
Well, I did get Alpine. And it does smell
She
really
got
good.
Alpine. If you're a hunter, she likes Alpine, y'all.
Yeah, take me to the deer stand.
Oh snap! Now we're really finding out what's up. But I just think people, like, I had people commenting when I put on there. I was like, "We're reviewing this," and people are like, "Please let me know what you think about it." Like, and I'm just being honest. Like, you couldn't really. I'm not going to be paid to talk about something that doesn't work.
Right.
And the people that are like, "Oh my God, it's the best thing."
Maybe we're not using it right.
But I watched the videos with the doctor talking about it.
You know, I've seen some things where you're supposed to like put it on at nighttime before you go to bed.
Really?
I used to have something I used in high school, and it was prescription.
It was Certain Dry.
No. It was a prescription. You know what? I need to try to get some more of that. It was a prescription, and it was like a
It was like a rolly ball.
Yes, it was a rolly ball, and it was so potent, and it was like you rolled it on there.
It was like alcohol.
It burned.
Really?
It burned.
So it kind of probably dried it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you literally did it before bedtime. I'm glad I remember that because I need to call my doctor.
And I was like I take a bath. You like to take baths too.
Yeah.
Like I love to take, and I'm like, okay, do you put it on after that? Like you put it on the shower, and
So-
then who can like carry that around and put it on your privates multiple times a day?
I mean, so at the end of the day, guys, I guess what we're all trying to say is here,
Yeah.
if you know,
Yeah.
Lumi, we're still sweating, and we feel
and
like
I never had, and I'm just being bluntly honest with you. This shirt is like you can see through it. It's not hot in here, but my armpits are wet. And I never, before I used Lumi, like I always used what we call it, Degree.
Yeah.
Like the satin silk or whatever it is. And they have the aluminum free.
Yeah.
And that, but like I always use that, and like my armpits weren't wet, and I always was smelling fresh. I wasn't always going,
Oh, I was never wet. Even like
No.
I use Secret Clinical, but
now we are.
But now it's like I mean, I don't even want to raise my arms when I got a t-shirt
well,
on.
I was watching, I love Jelly Roll and Bunny, and I don't know who this chick was. I think she was actually a porn star. But I was watching the podcast, and everybody was not talking about what the girl was talking about. They were talking about, because it was angled like this.
so you could see
You
it.
could see the huge, and what if she was using
wearing
Lumi?
What if she was? Well, you know, the other day I wore one of CJ's like Nike sweatshirts.
Yeah.
And I was in the bathroom fixing my hair, and I
keep in mind this thing's thick.
This is a thick sweatshirt, guys. Y'all know how thick them Nike sweatshirts
Yeah.
are. I put my arms up to fix my hair, and my husband's like, "Man, you're sweating bad." I mean, it was coming through the sweatshirt.
Right.
So, guys,
Yes.
disclaimer, it does not work.
I'm just not a fan. Now, I am going to tell you, I'm going to see my girlfriend tomorrow. Her name's Kristen Rogers. She has Naturally Owned Maine in Forest City. And then her husband is Dr. Robert Rogers, the only chiropractor I will let touch my neck, because he is amazing. We worked together in he's a little older than me, but I was in my 20s. I did like marketing for a chiropractic office in Charlotte. But she has, everything's tested, everything's natural, like all of that good stuff. So she's got some different stuff that I'm going to try.
Let me know.
Because
Let us know about
I
it.
just feel like I just need to donate my cream to somebody that wants to use it. So if you want some Lumi cream,
Now, I
call
will say
me.
this. The Lumi cream is great for your feet.
Really?
Yes.
Because my feet, oh my God, my kids' feet,
Right.
ooh,
Like
they're
sweat?
terrible.
Like, no. Like, you know how, like, when you're wearing sneakers and stuff,
Yeah.
like, you can get that Frito smell
yeah.
in, like, your feet.
not the good Frito-Lay chips.
Not that I do. And, so I would, like, put it on my feet.
Really?
Before I would put shoes on, and then I'll come home at night, and I'll do a little sniff test, and
Yeah.
they don't stink.
Well, I need to not
try
throw
that.
it away
So
and put it on my kids' feet.
at least that works. I guess at least that works.
Let me tell you, so May, we waited last minute. My passport expired.
Oh no.
And we were going to Belize. The kids, Riker had never had one. Colt's, the kids are, only 5 years. His was expired. Jesse was the only one that was proactive and got his. And called a buddy of mine. I was like, I'm freaking out. We don't have 6 weeks. We got to make something happen like right now. So he was like, well, call passport office, whatever. So the only place we could find an appointment was Washington, D.C. And I was like, well, kids, we're going on a field trip. We're going to go on a field
wow.
trip. So we ended up going to, what's it called? Busch Gardens in Virginia. And then I am a huge fan of Yelp. When you ask, if we're out of town and you're like, where do you want to, let's go to somewhere to eat. I'm going to look And some of them are hole-in-the-wall places, but if it's on Yelp, it's for real. Well, Jesse thought we were going to God, what is that movie, like, where they get lost in the woods? He's like, Jen, I don't know about this. I'm like, you're a cop. Put your big boy pants on. Like, it's going to be okay. We roll up to this Mexican restaurant, and my family would eat Mexican every day if I would. And Colt goes, well, there's a Napa Auto Parts right there, so that's the only thing that makes me kind of feel safe. And I'm like, Napa Auto Parts don't really make me feel safe. Yeah. It's a 2-story house. I think the family lived there, but it's the best freaking margarita I've ever had in my life. The food was stupid good. Like, it's authentic, like, Mexican food, but it was, like, off the beaten path, like 25 miles. So then we go to the hotel that I find on Expedia, because I'm a huge Expedia fan, and I work in marketing. I know pictures are not always, you know, they're not always a true depiction. Well, long story short, we get there, and I start reading some of the reviews as we get closer. I hadn't been to D.C. in a hot minute, right? And there's people trying to, like, carjack you on this road. They're trying to say that they're, like, the valet. But it's not the valet. It's the, we gonna steal your Mercedes, Miss Saucier.
Oh, right. Wow.
Yes. So I called into the hotel, and I was like, we will not be coming in there. We have 2 children here. And, like, there was a dude, like, they were literally dealing, like, I don't know if it was meth, crack, cocaine. Obviously, I don't do drugs. I'm too fat. Never have. I don't know what they were dealing. But Riker goes... He's in 3rd grade at the time, you know. He goes, Mama, I'll have to tell Miss Caldwell I saw a drug deal go down, a real one, not even on TV. And I was like, it was one of those moments where you're like,
let's not.
As a teacher, I would have loved to hear that.
I have failed you as a parent. And so I'm like, screw it, whatever. You know, I'm not going to put my family's safety in jeopardy, and I'll just do a chargeback if I have to.
Right.
Which I did have to, because they were complete asses about a refund. And I'm like, no. So we ended up staying in this beautiful, nice, awesome hotel. And we go to the passport agency. Talk about your armpits being sweaty. I'm like freaking out. I'm a type A personality anyway. I'm just wanting to make sure we got the proper documentation. Mm-hmm. And then Colt's my stepson, so we had to get papers not only signed by his mom, but notarized. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. And so we go in there, and you're waiting, and you know, it's people of all walks of life. But I don't know why I was so worried about not getting our passports, but I was like sweating. And Riker looks at me. He's 8 years old at the time. He's like, Mom, don't freak out. They'll know, they'll think you're suspicious, and they might think that you're a terrorist. And I was like, nothing about me is terroristic, if that's even a word. Like, nothing. So we get up to the counter, and Riker starts like nervous talking, like, yeah. And you have to tell him your travel dates, you know, and all that. And, you know, I'd coach the kids, these are our travel dates. If they ask you, you know, and we were staying at Jackie Falls place at San Pedro, Belize. If you're looking for a place to stay, Jackie has a great apartment there. And after we got done there, it was an all-day process, and then we had to go back and pick them up. Miss Type A personality has everything together. We go in there, and I put my little briefcase little thing in the trunk. I'm not carrying all that stuff around. It's like documents. Well, we go in there. This lady goes, if you ain't got no paperwork, you ain't getting no passports. That's how that works. And we getting ready to close, so it looks like you will have to reapply.
Oh, no.
I was like, the devil is a liar, girl. And my mama just died like 2 weeks before. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, take a deep breath. Don't cuss her out. She's a federal employee. You've got to get your passport. So I maybe dropped a couple tears, you know. Just
as I would have.
I had to lean over and say, ma'am, do you have children? I kind of felt like the lady on Home Alone when she's trying to get a flight. Yep. I've got a ring. I've got a necklace. I've got
a watch.
What do you want from me? I've got a kid. And
it's like, is it Rolex?
Yeah.
Is it real? Do you think it's real?
Yeah. Yeah. What if it's not? Can we just say it is, you know? But when we left there, I was like, celebrate good times. Come on, like, let's go do something fun, you know? And then the kids are like, let's stay one more day. Well, my husband, if you know my husband, he is a very regimented person. He's been a state trooper since he was 21 years old. He's very regimented, very not like myself. I'm very spontaneous. And the kids are like, let's stay one more night. And Jesse's like, we're not staying. We're leaving. We've got stuff to do. We've got to go, you know, do this. I'm not laughing. He ended up getting so sick. My husband does not lay in the bed and cover up in the middle of the day. We had to go to a hotel and check in. There was no driving home because I was not driving all those hours home. We check in, talking about stinky feet. The kids' feet stunk so bad from walking all over DC. I was about to throw up when the guy valeted my car. I was like, talk about Frito-Lays, talk about like dead people in your car. Like, yeah, like the other guys smell when the homeless people steal the car smell. It was terrible. I was embarrassed. And that's where this whole conversation circled back from the stinky feet. I just told you like three stories in one.
So you need to keep some of that in your car if you go on
trips. Yes. And so I don't know if he had COVID or what, but he was sick as a dog. So you know where I took them kids? To get a pedicure. Only girls get pedicures. I was like, dude, grown men, big, strong grown men get pedicures.
You know those women in there were just
oh my God, they were
dying.
Feet. So Colt goes, he's 16. Jen, please don't put this on Facebook. Please. I didn't put it on Facebook, but I sent his mom. I sent his grandma. I sent our friends. I sent everybody pictures. And the woman goes, you need extra treatment on your feet. They stink. That's what they told the kids. Oh. And so Jesse wakes up. He's like, where have you guys been? And I was like, I took the kids to get pedicures. They hadn't gone back with me since, but it was worth a try.
They went the first time.
It was worth a try. Well, I so appreciate you taking time out of your crazy busy schedule. I know you kind of threw it in last minute with us, but Kaitlyn is available, and she loves Alpine.
I love Alpine.
I mean, I feel like it's a country song. Like we should probably get with like
Alpine, Carolina basketball.
Alpine, you want to be mine?
You know, she's a domesticated woman.
Yeah.
And I need nieces and nephews some point in time.
That's right.
Our family's not too crazy.
Just a little bit.
Just some days.
If somebody thinks their family is sane, then they're very
crazy.
Confused. They're the ones that are crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody's dysfunctional to some point,
everybody's dysfunctional.
Right. Yeah. Well,
it's funny because everybody that like gets around, like our whole family, says we need like our own reality television show.
Oh yeah.
If what you need to go do is watch my TikToks that we make every.
Oh, they're fun.
Every Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The one I made at Christmas got how many views did it get? 500 and something. Was it 600 and something thousand views?
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Yeah, so we like every like Christmas.
We'll have to tag some of those on our post.
Every Christmas and Thanksgiving we do like a family TikTok, and yeah, they're pretty hilarious. So
they are.
Well, and that's the point of Get Up and Tie Your Shoes is. Some of us are married, some of us are not. Everybody comes from a different walk of life, and it's all about, educate, encourage, and empower. And it's been fun, like chit-chatting today, nothing serious. And now you can tell your family we don't have like a reality show, but we got a podcast.
That's right.
We'll have to bring them on. Your mom would be like so fun to have on.
Yeah,
the twins.
They would.
Yeah, the twins would be a hoot.
They call each other roommates.
My mom and her twin did that too.
I'm like,
they did.
What's the other thing they do?
Mature.
What is it they say about that? We give them a hard time. It was something about like we're mature.
They were like, we're mature. I'm like,
they're pretty ladies, man. They are so pretty. They don't age.
I hope I ages.
Oh, they've aged very gracefully.
I hope I age as good as they do.
I hope I do too, but with everything I've gotten from my dad's side, it's not looking good.
Hey, that's what that joint cream's for, right?
Yeah.
Well, follow us for more product reviews because trust me, we'll be doing plenty.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for joining us for this podcast. And remember to get up and tie your shoes.